3, 2, 1, and we're live.
All right, how's it going today?
Man, it's stressful. All these people keep shooting everybody up. I'm like, the
exactly.
hell with all of this, man.
This thing is ridiculous. Santa Fe, I mean, I can't believe.
In Santa Fe High School, Texas, southeast of Houston.
Yeah.
For people that are watching this now or later or whatever, just to give you a reference. Kind of between Pasadena and Clear Lake for people that are generalized in the area. So south of Houston. As of a few minutes ago, we had a tech difficulty. That's why we're late. But so as of about 1 o'clock, 9 had been announced dead.
Yeah.
1 in critical condition at some trauma 2 center out there. I don't remember which one. I don't want to screw that up. Then 2 were already discharged with non-life threatening injury, and then there's a bunch that had like a lot of stuff like scrapes and things. There were some windows blown out.
Yeah.
So there's that's all we know right now. They do have the guy in custody. It was a guy. He's 17. I go in line with some of the people get mad with some of the uber conservative.
Yeah.
I haven't seen his name. I heard it, but I wouldn't say it anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
for the whole, just the chance that anybody can glorify anybody's ADAC name for doing super shit like this. But the cool part, he's alive. He's alive. He's in custody. So they get a unique opportunity in this situation to actually interview and interrogate the shooter.
Psyche eval and see what makes him tick.
Yeah, because you got to think, is most of these, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They either turn the gun on themselves or wind up being shot and killed by officers or someone involved with it. So, you know, it's a unique situation here, which you always try to look for any kind of good in a situation like this. So that's one of the good ones.
Yeah. Because this might give us a step towards prevention.
Right. Something. You know, we don't know. So he's 17, so he wasn't, so let's cover all the law. He wasn't able to purchase firearms on his own.
No.
Anyway. So we know whatever he had, whatever he shot, there's no way it could have been his.
Yeah. So whether it's black market or whether it's parents is...
Yeah, we don't know. One of the early speculations was that it was a bird hunting rifle. Okay,
really?
And that was one of the, and this goes for, they were interviewing one of the dads at one of the gas stations nearby where kids were dispersed across Highway 6.
Yeah.
And so one of those locations is one of the dads that was there that had gotten his kid already back home and came back to check on his wife, who was a teacher or somebody, staff at the school or something.
Yeah.
And he had said that he had took 5 kids back to his house, his as well, including his own.
Yeah.
And that they were some that jumped through the window that had wound up being shot out, because the shooter entered the classroom and I guess he just shot and one of the windows got shot out, and there were a bunch of kids who escaped out of that window and ran. And I don't know if he's a son, but his child or children were in that group that ran, and they apparently are avid hunters and things of that nature. So he recognized the pump and how the shell casings hit, because you got to remember it's not a single. I don't want to go into any technical stuff to confuse anybody and mess things up, but there's a whole bunch of little beads inside, shots, as opposed to a single slug, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that's apparently what he said. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I haven't heard anything. And then other basics about it. They claim to have found an explosive device both on and off campus.
Yeah, that was up next.
Related or not, I have no idea. They haven't said anything, which in some regards I like, because don't say anything. Speculation. I'm like, it's a whole nother topic, right? You know what I'm saying?
Let's not
get to the facts. If you don't know, say we don't know. You'll know when we know. Type situation. Stop speculating on it. So
Okay.
So here we are, state of Texas, which doesn't deal with this very often.
This kid had some stones to do that.
Yeah.
And then I heard somewhere that there might be an officer injured.
Yeah, I saw an officer injured, but what they said earlier is they didn't believe it was related to the shootings.
Oh, okay. So.
Right. So it was either part of the rescue, part of the evacuation, part of something along those lines, but he wasn't. It could be wrong.
Okay.
Because this was, I'll say, about 9 o'clock this morning. I heard that.
Yeah.
That there was an officer injured, but I don't think it had anything to do with that.
Yeah, and it said this started at 7:45 a.m. So this would have been first period for these kids, and so that's not what I want to wake up to.
No, man.
Saying.
2 weeks left for school. They're getting an early summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Most definitely an early summer.
Yeah, they've earned it at this point.
So you get into it, and so and one of the questions you asked me when you sat down is that whatever, just be real. When are the liberals going to get a hold of this, and it becomes another massive gun issue?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because so the way it looks is, if it's a bird gun, this is used for hunting, and that's going to get pushed into like, well, we should ban all guns.
Right.
And that I can never get on board with.
It gets down to because I've had episodes that are strictly 100% devoted to the gun debate, bringing up stats, bringing up reason, bringing up what current laws are, and what it takes to change the Constitution, and going on and so forth. So I mean, we've covered all of that intensely, with several different people, but it comes down to if this was a hunting rifle, right?
Yeah.
The other ones used are, I mean, I got a 300 blackout that can be used for a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a full auto, so it's not an assault weapon.
Yeah.
But I could use that to hunt whitetail all day long, and a lot of people do, and it's a very successful round for it, under 200 yards, right? And so let's just call it, if it is a bird hunting rifle that they described, probably the most ridiculous thing you'd use to go shoot up a school with.
Yeah, absolutely. If I was thinking about what would...
I mean, a high-powered CO2 pellet gun would probably do more specific damage than that at any kind of a range.
Which is true.
Does that make sense? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you'll have a larger slug, so to speak, a larger round that would penetrate and do something.
And this just comes out, that's what he had access to.
And now when I say that, people are immediately going to say, well, 9 people are dead. Yes, I say at any kind of a range. If you take any firearm and you're a foot or two away from somebody, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to, you got it. You win, you know what I'm saying? So let's be real and don't think that I'm trying to discredit any of those things. But how's the liberal side of this, or the anti-gun, forget just the anti-gun side of this, because there's conservatives that are built into that also, the anti-gun. How the anti-gun side going to attack it now if it is a strict hunting rifle specifically for birds?
Yeah, and so, I mean, so what I could see is, well, all guns are bad, but at the same time, that's what he had access to, and apparently he found access to explosives as well.
Apparently.
So
we think.
Yeah.
We think, yeah.
And so that would kind of push the whole idea of, it's just whatever you can get your hands on is what you're going to use.
Yeah.
Right?
And we know, I mean, as we know, you can Google it, and in a matter of 15, 20 minutes, you can figure out how to make a bomb.
Yeah.
Bombs are not hard to make. You can do it with I think, I'm going off a little bit, so I'll be off a little bit.
Yeah.
$20, $30, go into a local grocery store. If it's a full grocery store, not like a little 5 and dime, but like a full grocery store, you can get everything you need to do it.
Which is true.
It depends how sophisticated you want it, I mean, you could take one of these tanks for your outdoor grills, go set that in the middle of the thing and shoot it, and that thing's going to blow up.
Which is
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, it really comes down to what. So, when they say explosives, I don't want people just immediately jump and think he's, some high tech, Mission Impossible type explosives.
Yeah.
We have no idea what that means.
Jerry rigged little PVC pipe.
Yeah.
PSA, don't try that.
No, don't.
Please don't.
Yes. Yeah.
So
what do you think's changed, man? So this is a serious deal. Is a buddy of mine, I hate throwing names and stuff like that. So ex-SEAL friend of mine gave me a call this morning, and he was like, hey, man, for your show, he's like, one of the things you should ask is, what do you think, or we think, have changed in the last 10, 12, 15 years that children, and I classify children really as anybody 25 and under.
Yeah.
In many regards, and we've discussed that as far as development of frontal lobe and all those things.
Yeah.
How are children immediately turning straight to guns? It's not I'm going to deal with this. It's not I'm going to go beat your ass on the playground. It's not I'm going to pull pranks on you and make you feel stupid or silly. And it's none of that. It's like, I was bullied, I was wronged. Even if they were not, they feel that way.
Yeah.
From its own reality. So I was bullied, I was wrong. I'm going to go kill a bunch of people. What happened that it got to that point?
So the only thing that I can see is this compounding of just different events that build to that point, right? And so rather than it's, oh, I got bullied for, this week or whatever, and I just couldn't take it, it's, oh, this has been a continuous thing that has slowly built up to me justifying in my head that this is acceptable. Right? And so because at some point there's always going to be that snap, there's going to be that point where you just can't take it anymore. You need to retaliate in some form. Right? And whether you use a gun or whether you use explosives or a knife, it doesn't matter, but I think it comes down to being able to control your emotions. Because a lot of people nowadays aren't taught that. We're not taught to, how to handle emotions properly.
Yeah.
And especially these young kids that I get to see is constantly, it's like handling stress or handling like foreign events in your life. You have no clue.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but I think that falls into the being sheltered portion of things. Because when we were kids, we were cut loose and you got scratched, you got hurt.
Years ago, I mean, you saying kid isn't that long ago.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But even if you take my generation, you go even further back. And I'm not saying it's right to do it this way.
Yeah.
But in a school setting or in a team setting or any sort of populated deal with other kids, if you were picked on, you either found the niche of the group that you did fit in and you worry about it, or if it was within your group and you were getting bullied and picked on. I don't even know if we had bullying back then. I'm like, it was a different deal, but it did exist. But it's a very different. It was a matter of like, Johnny, I'm whooping your ass after school.
Yeah,
we got recess, 20 minutes, dog.
I'm coming for you. Yeah,
and then little Johnny and little Sammy get out there and bang, 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 and everybody goes and the teachers come separate them, and then they're eating lunch together.
Yeah.
Like, cool, got it, all right.
But yeah, exactly.
You worked it out.
It was much easier to handle those problems because there was even when I was a kid, even in like elementary school, there was one guy who would constantly come up and just pick on me. Yeah. And every recess, okay, well, we're gonna handle this now, and then after that, we were fine. We had class together and we worked together. We played the same instruments, right?
Had some weird thing.
Yeah, it was always just this weird quirk, and so we just had to take care of it, and that was it.
And I think you'll be able to attest to this a lot better than I will, okay? Because the modern world of social media, I think we didn't have that crap back then.
Yeah.
Social media, if something went in the school paper, it was big fucking news, and that was like once a quarter. You know what I'm saying? So, so taking it from this perspective, I do believe social media can play a harsher role in dealing with bullying than in past years.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because you can get slammed and slandered by not only the people you know, but by countless other people
that don't know you at all,
that have no idea who you are, that are just jumping on the bandwagon of
we can target this person. I have pent up rage. Right. Let's just go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
The person getting bullied is being bullied by his peers, and then probably being bullied by a lot of people who are just like him.
Yeah.
That just need some sort of an outlet. So he kind of gets double, triple whammy.
Which is true.
Yeah.
And that would be the worst if I had somebody in my exact same situation trying to push me down more.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I'm going to give a very light response to some of this. So, exciting news, whatever. Corey's baseball team made the championship.
Yeah.
Okay, so the team that he played last night to get there is known for trash talking and things of that nature, right? Okay, well,
how old are they?
Right, so they were 1-11 on the season.
Oh, really?
The team he played last night.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, in Little League, all the teams make the playoffs. So they were the bottom seed of the playoffs. Okay. They did win a game in the playoffs, which got them to advance, right?
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that put them at 2-11 on the season. Okay.
Good stats.
Right.
Like yeah.
And then we beat them, so they're 2-12 on the season.
Yeah.
Right. You following me? Yeah. You don't get to talk shit if you're 2-12. Right.
Which is true. Yeah.
You got there's no, you're 2-12, dog.
Yeah.
Hush it, right?
But I think yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they didn't feel depressed and go shoot people.
Yeah, naturally.
But you also don't get to talk shit if you only have 2 wins.
And I think that kind of puts things in perspective, because if you were a bully and you already had such low stats, so to speak, and you had to confront somebody face to face, your stats are just going to get lower and lower.
Right.
If you do it over the phone or over the computer or whatever it is, well,
your stats get up. Your stats get
I
higher.
mean, you can definitely bully much easier without without that sort of repercussion.
And if you type out something funny, guess what happens? You get likes.
Yeah.
You get more people following you. You get all these interactions. So what does that do? Your value has now gone up, which leads you to what? Do it more.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on, turd asses.
And so, but I mean, that goes to speak about, what we value.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is funny, oh, he's, bagging on somebody, and then all of a sudden you follow him, you like his stuff, and then he just starts posting more and more of the same nonsense.
You're feeding it,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And there's a fine line between bullying and talking smack.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because those kids last night, they're not bullying.
Yeah, exactly.
They're talking smack, which I deeply appreciate. I'll be honest with you. I love it. I'm all good with it. But still, you don't get to talk shit if you're only 2 and 12. Man,
well, then you got to talk it back, and that's the best part.
Yeah.
Right? And that's that like fine line that keeps everybody in check.
Right, but that's kind of the whole thing. Is that they're blah, 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 and we're blah, 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 and then they're like sharing juice and cupcakes after the game.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So
that sounds perfect.
Is that a deal? I mean, I hate to say there's the answer. Is one of the answers more team and group activity like that? That's competitive?
I sure hope so.
I don't know.
You should see the PE classes today.
Oh man.
It's
the jokes.
Unbelievable. Because what we used to do, we'd get together and we'd have this huge, competitions between one another. This was in elementary school. When we moved into like middle school and things like that, our physical education just became less and less until it was just walk around the gym. You walk around the gym. We're walking around the gym for 45 minutes.
Well, you get in situations. This is just the degradation of humans. I'm not going to say degradation of America or systems or no. It's just of people, of human beings in our nature. Is that okay? Well, we can't run and do this in PE because then little Sally or little Johnny who can't do it's going to feel left out.
Yeah.
So then we could be liable for suit as an educational system by making somebody feel bad. We're not making them feel bad. We're giving activity because that's smart and healthy to all these kids. It's not how law looks at it.
Yeah.
So for me, follow me. This is a base foundation of so many. You'll learn this more and more. I go to the entire downfall of everything is the lack of accountability in marketing and advertising.
Okay.
And everybody has that same reaction at first.
You're going to have to expound on that.
What the hell does that mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, how does that cross over to social behavior? How does that cross over to this? And how does it cross over to that? You know how many kids think Gatorade is healthy for them?
That's fair, yeah.
Because why? Because they're told Gatorade is good for them by marketing and advertising. All these athletes, be like Mike and all this other kind of crap. Because, and why is Michael Jordan so great? I'm using him because he's an older one.
Yeah.
Because he drinks Gatorade.
Oh.
So I need Gatorade.
Yeah.
Give me one scientific study of modern Gatorade, not original Gatorade formula out of the University of Miami in the early 70s. Modern Gatorade that proves that it is healthy and good for children.
Healthy?
Children.
I wouldn't see it as healthy. Good.
And
delicious.
That much sugar as far as trying to rehydrate and re-nourish and all that get. Okay, so now that's one very small example.
Okay, I see that.
You say, oh, this is organic. Well, to find out what organic actually means, you have to go to the FDA website and download these deals because it is state by state. There's federal regulations and state regulations, and it could mean that only 8% of the entire product has to be from an organic source.
Oh.
And they get to say it's organic. Whole grain. Oh, it's whole grain. That's so much better for me. Well, only 12% of it has to be whole grain.
Yeah.
And if it's derived from whole grain, sometimes you can say whole grain. Well, what grain isn't,
Which is true.
If you have triple bleached, double enriched white flour, it's still derived from whole grain. So you kind of see what I'm saying? So you get to lie to make a boatload of money. And you get to lie to people, telling them this is healthy when it's not. And you get to lie to people, say, this is the top car for the last 12 consecutive years. Then you read all that little fine print.
Yeah.
Based on any car that's between 1,700 and 1,800 pounds, that's only a 1.7 liter. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one car ever that's done that. So you're the best of one when you create these parameters. But they don't say that. The best car for running for 15 consecutive years.
Yeah. And so, so that gets into lobbyists, and I don't know if we want to have that conversation just yet.
But I'm just saying that, like when people freak out and they're like, oh, well, how is that?
But
you're right. Okay, well, same thing with all this stuff. There's such an absence of accountability at every single level.
Yeah.
You cannot watch a commercial without being lied to.
That's
I don't
fair.
care if it's from a politician. I don't care if it's a newscast. I don't care if it's about food, a drink, a beverage, or this. Every single one of them will lie to you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what do you watch the first 5 years of your life? Boatloads of commercials because, right? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, even our kids don't watch a ton of TV.
Yeah.
But they're getting a lot. I mean, you sit and you watch a 30-minute show, and I mean, it's a little different with DVR and different things.
Yeah.
Netflix and things, which I love. But you still get the barrage with all these things.
Which is true, and even online, I'm looking at the news, and these little pop-ups keep popping up. Oh, buy this, do this, or all up on the side there.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell do you mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and that goes back to, so if you want to bully me, and you go out and you create a big lie on social media and in the school and all these things, and it puts me in a state of depression, clinical depression, which can very easily happen in social settings. It's natural human behavior.
Yeah.
What happens to you, the originator of it? You might get detention a couple of days. You're going to get talked to. Mom and dad may or may not give two shits about it and get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And it continues.
Yeah, and so...
And then, I have no outlet for it. Oh, we'll go take some therapy. Oh, you're really depressed? Take this pill.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
There's no... Because I don't want to immediately jump to, it's all because parents are absent, or it's all because of this, or it's all because of that. Just simply lack of accountability. If you bully somebody, you should be held accountable for that. You, as the bully, should be removed from the deal, because we're going to get into like epigenetic behavior and responses.
Mm-hmm.
We know as human beings, when you are forcefully extracted from a group, you feel that.
Yeah.
Because now you're
on an emotional level.
Right,
yeah.
on a effectively on a genetic level.
Yeah.
Because now you're an outcast, you're by yourself, you have no safety, you have no protection.
Yeah.
Your life is in danger, is immediately what the internal response is. That's going to make you more alert and more sensitive to what's going on. Then the group is going to allow you back in as long as you fit certain parameters.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've done that. In today's system, we can't. Because you separate little Johnny, now you're in trouble for singling him out. Now you're liable as a governmental education system.
Yeah, but I mean, so what I've seen is, for the most part, not the kids who have trouble. It's the kids that just don't want to do it.
Right.
Right? And so, like, we're not allowed to talk about these things because a parent doesn't believe that's child appropriate. Or we're not allowed to, push Johnny or Timmy or Sally, during PE class or during physical education because... well, she doesn't want to be pushed, right?
It makes her uncomfortable.
Exactly. And then she cries about it, and her parents come by, and, this is a huge liability. And so for the people with the medical issues, I can see that, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's not that. And especially with the people that I see. But I think when it comes down to that sort of stuff, and then you get those kids who are allowed to just sit on their phone and during PE or during class because they don't want to interact, that automatically creates more isolation. Yeah. Right?
You're allowing that. Like, to me, that's more abuse than trying to make someone who has a medical issue just walk.
Yeah.
Just walk.
Exactly.
If you're physically able to walk, just walk, dude. Just walk.
Yeah, and I know a lot of high school coaches will find variations for disabled or ones who can't do it.
Yeah.
Activities for them to engage in. But then there are also some that don't, right? And there's some that just, they don't care. So, okay, well, do what you want. Sit there on the bleachers. Doesn't matter to us.
And which is...
right.
Like,
come
on, man.
That is neglect as far as I'm concerned. And so, I mean, because I was so happy to find coaches and, like, teachers that actually cared about us when we were kids, and that was what helped us excel, right?
To do things like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but it became... for the ones that didn't, or, we always had that outlet, we can go to this teacher and they give us our stress outlet, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're there because they care, naturally. Yeah. Some are, some aren't, doesn't matter. But I think handling stress for the most part is becoming something that people, and especially this new generation, is not able to do well. Because I see it all the time now with with like younger kids and the kids that I work with, and especially this next generation coming up, not being able to handle just normal stress.
Yeah.
Because they're not taught that. They're not let out into the world and say, "Oh, hey, just you'll be all right."
Right.
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 And so
one of this is a roundabout way to attacking this problem.
Yeah.
Right, for me, take the violence and the gun issue, put it off to the side. I'm not saying forget about it.
No, yeah.
Ignore it totally for a second. Then let's just agree as a community. What we're going to do is make sure we feed our kids what they should be fed.
Yes.
Minus all
Absolutely.
refined carbohydrates got to go.
Yeah.
We know that scientifically it's irrefutable. You can say, but, till the cows come home, you got to take it out.
Yeah.
Let's remove that. Let's feed these kids appropriately. Let's have them rest and get some sleep appropriately. Let's have them, from a scientific level, let's have them have 15 quality minutes a day with their parent.
Yeah.
15 with mom, 15
absolutely.
with dad, or 15
with
just
both,
with whoever the hell is there. Grandma, uncle,
Yeah,
whoever
yeah,
the
yeah.
parent figure is, I could give two shits, right? Have them study 10, 15, 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It's not a ton. Have them have the appropriate physical activity to be healthy. I'm not saying go be #1 athlete or
Yeah,
go
you
to
don't
the
have to be
Olympics
Phelps.
or,
You can just
right.
take a walk.
Go get some activity. Get to the playground. Do something. It can be a group activity. It can be whatever it is. Go playing with a bunch of kids at the local gym or this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
Get the physical activity that they require to be healthy, because we know physical activity is required to be appropriately healthy.
Yeah.
So let's do these like 5-6 things that in my mind are relatively easy, right? As opposed to sitting around and debating things that it takes 100 million people to vote for to get to happen.
Yeah.
So you can put that aside and say, now we have healthy, able kids. And then the final thing is, in our education system, stop going as fast as the slowest kid.
Yeah.
Stop it.
That's the one I've always been big on.
Right. If you have a class of 30 kids and 2 are slow as hell and they're slowing down the other ones, when you slow down, you're taking the top 5 to 10 and they're going to be trouble now because they're bored out of their mind.
Yeah.
So now they're getting disciplined because these 2 can't keep up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying ignore those kids, but let's identify it and let's help those kids.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Take 2 or 3 of the top kids and have them help. Oh, okay, well, John, you're great at math, so you help them with math. And, oh, Suze, you're amazing at language. You do this here. Oh, you're great at geography. You come home and you help this kid. So create community.
Which is true, yeah. That builds the connection between the top and the bottom, which helps average out everybody.
And then everybody's less likely to pick on the 2 dumb kids, 2 slow kids,
because they have a better
stupid
support
kids,
system
whatever they're going
because
to call them.
of teachers and students.
Because you're teaching compassion.
Yeah.
And you're sharing knowledge, you're sharing information. So then those top kids are actually going to become more able to exercise whatever it is they're being taught, their knowledge and so on and so forth, because now they're sharing it.
Yeah, because they don't just know it, they understand it to be able to teach.
Because they've been told it, they can apply it, and now they can teach it.
Yeah.
Now you're building a leader.
Yeah.
And you're also building compassion towards the kid who's slow.
Yeah.
And the kid who's slow is now getting quality interaction with the smart kids, which is going to intertwine with the popular kids. So now there's less likelihood. Bullying will never go away. There's less likelihood for some of those things to occur.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's take, why isn't that the solution?
I don't think people think about it that way. Because to do that, you would have to identify who's the top, who's the bottom. We don't want to do that just because then somebody's going to feel left out, right?
Great.
But
then
I
go to
love
a different
competition,
school.
so...
You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
And the reality is it's not really a competition.
Yeah.
You're just saying, we've identified you as really slow in these areas or all the areas. Who gives a shit?
Doesn't care.
So our answer to this is we're going to help you through it, but we're not slowing down.
Yeah.
We're not going to slow down.
So when I was a kid, I guess this would have been in elementary school, they diagnosed me with some 504 dyslexia, blah, blah, blah.
Can you spell it backwards?
Hold on. Got to make that tick mark. And they told me I would never be as good as, these other kids.
Right.
Because when elementary school was kind of that turn of the century there, I was like, oh, okay. I told them, well, you're wrong, first off.
Yeah.
And so all I did was, on that free time, when I could study. I would read, I would write, I would do math, because math was a big thing. Numbers would jumble up in my head or whatever they said. Then I made sure I was as proficient as possible. And now, being in high school, just graduating high school, I write significantly better than most of my friends. And I see a lot of people now, and a lot of people that I have to work with, and even adults, when they write like children.
Yes.
It's like hardly legible.
Yeah.
And they sit there, oh, you write like a doctor. I'm like, no, it's my scratch. Like, if I actually try, trust me, I got this. But it was, I think, because they told me this was my weakness, and because of, my parents telling me, well, when you have a problem, work to a solution, right?
Yeah.
Don't just shut down and, agree that this is just the way it is. If that's the issue, all right, fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so having that problem identified to me, by somebody who I thought was credible at the time, realizing now they were essentially me back then, but smart in that sense, definitely gave me something to focus on, which I vastly enjoyed. And so I picked up, what I could, got into geography bees, went to spelling bees, just to practice, really.
And it worked.
Yeah. And so now I'm here.
Applying that across the board, though, I think, immediately people jump to say, oh, guns are bad, guns are killing people. No, it's not. It's the people killing people. Not the gun. Oh, we need more background checks. We need more of this. We need more of this. We need
to arm more people or disarm more people. And
I'm like, the guns are a tool, man.
Yeah.
Just like, and everybody, the liberals really get mad about this, but the reality is there were more deaths. There were more homicides by knife in London than guns in New York.
Which is true, because England has really high restrictions on guns. So
basically, you're not.
Yeah, you're not.
I mean, the police don't, the bobbies don't carry guns.
Yeah.
There are areas they do, but for the most part, they don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even when the police force isn't even carrying them, okay.
Fair.
So the weapon to kill over there has become trucks, vans, cars, and knives, and acid in the face. Okay, clearly legislating the tool of choice to cause harm is not the answer.
Yeah.
Not that there doesn't need to be legislation. I want people to get me wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying zero legislation on these things.
Naturally, yeah.
I'm just saying that directing all of the money and effort and resources to the tool probably isn't the answer. We have a long history to show that. So maybe we should start putting time and resources and efforts into the people.
Yeah.
Let's start trying to develop quality people.
Yeah.
Let's start to redevelop community. Let's start to redevelop some of these foundational things that existed 20, 30 years ago when we didn't have this problem.
Yeah, so it's just the user rather than...
Right.
Because if someone wrecks a car, it's not the car's... Well, most of the time, it's not the car's fault, but it's usually the driver.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That I can be... Yeah, that I'm 100% about.
Yeah. And even in that, taking the cars, I'm not saying take all the drivers and then start pounding them with more regulation and more education and weigh them down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, go back to the beginning. Let's start addressing these children.
Yeah.
And build people that are more considerate, more compassionate, more empathetic, more logical on top of it, because those things coexist very well.
Better stress management.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen? They get behind the wheel. They're not going to drive like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
They may in open lanes, and all that kind of. I mean, I have a fast car. There's times that I had the boys in the back and there's nobody around, and for a quarter mile, going.
Yeah,
exactly. Nobody's around. It's dry. It's safe. I'm saying? It's a major 10-lane highway.
Yeah, and you get those beautiful little moments where everything's just right.
Yes.
And you have that nice little car, and you say, okay, well, let's
And I've had 2 or 3 moments in the last 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've had one in the last 2 months.
That's what
so I guess you're right.
So it doesn't mean that these people aren't going to have fun and kind of push the limit a little bit, but they're going to be as safe as humanly possible about it. They're not going to be the ones zipping in and out and cutting people and clipping people, and cutting a corner too fast and slamming into the trees.
Or freaking out when they get into stressful situations. Yeah. Because when I was being taught how to drive, my father was the one who took responsibility for that. the fun bit about him, and I completely support this for anybody who's teaching their kid how to drive, is he would overreact in any situation just to get your stress level up, so you could be able to identify, you learn to calm yourself, learn to address the problem rather than freaking out, right? Because there are a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends like that just, if traffic's going too fast, or if there's too many curves, or, if, there's foreign, situation going on to them, shut down.
Yeah.
Totally. And then that probability of danger increases, right? And so what he used to do is turning, if I turn too wide, turn too narrow, did whatever, brakes, brake too quickly or brake too early, just start freaking out. What are you doing? Just start yelling. And he used to yell really loud in that closed off little car. Had a '01 Explorer. Love that thing. And just, oh man, what? And one thing I will not ever forget, driving through Colorado, we're coming through this I guess mid-sized town, and the highway goes straight through the town, but it drops in huge walls. It's 4-lane traffic, huge walls on each side, and you've got people coming in, coming out, swerving in through traffic, and it's winding the whole time through this town. And I'm sitting there, I look in, I'm like, Dad, I don't think I can do this. You got this. I don't think I could. He knew it was coming, because about 3 miles out, he switched me over. So he pulled off. And he made me switch on. And I was like,
nice.
Are you sure? You got this. And I get in it. I can't do this. Like, I'm telling myself. And he's like, no, just wait it out. And I'm like, okay. And I was completely new to driving at the time. And it was, so that day, being in that stressful situation, that was like the peak of like stress. And now I look at everything else. I'm like, no, I got this. Worst thing happens, slap on my hazards, and just keep rolling. See what happens.
So this is my real quick one. First time driving as a driver. Not I had someone with me, but by myself, right? So not educational and that stuff's licensed. I mean, I had some similar fun experiences learning how to drive, but
naturally
driving through, on the highway, going through my tunnel, first tunnel ever. Right. And even in practicing stuff, I had never driven through the tunnels. So I was driving up to and going into the tunnel. It's like 1.25 miles. The tunnel, right? I'm not even 1/4 mile into it, and the tunnel lights went out. There was a power outage.
Oh.
I stressed shit out. There's no automatic headlights back then. I mean, we're going back to, it wasn't necessarily a Model T, right? But we're getting close, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Crank it in, anyway. So, boom, it shuts off. What you got to think is it takes everyone back then. You got to really about a two count before people realize what's going on and start turning headlights on. And that's not everybody's headlights are on, but that's just back in the day when you had to reach down and pull a knob, right? It's not all accessible and user friendly like today's vehicles. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just. I didn't have an accident. There was an accident down there, but when I had turned it on, it was 3 lanes. I was in the far right lane when it happened. The other 2 lanes. Literally right when my headlights came on, there were just a pile of cars already.
Really?
And it was just so lucky, but holy shit. Even today, even if I'm not even driving, I get to a tunnel, I stress out.
Oh, okay.
Just from that. Now, again, nothing happened.
Not
a scratch on the car, not a scratch on me, but it was literally first time enter in, and right at that point where it gets dark, off. You're like, son of a bitch. Are you serious?
Pitch black. So do you sit, as you're driving through the tunnel, you sit there with your finger like ready to flick that thing off?
Well, now we got automatic lights, you know what I'm saying?
Which is true, it just shuts off and that flips on. Oh,
okay. So that part I'm not worried, but it's just approaching tunnel, I'm like, crap. So that's my fun little tunnel drive story.
So I think it's become different now because parents, I don't want to say they're neglectful. I don't want to say that. I want to say oftentimes they don't know how to address certain situations or certain problems, or especially with kids now, certain feelings that kids have, and like being able to address this feeling appropriately, because they weren't taught how to do that either. They were, maybe their parent was able to address it for them, but didn't help them understand how to do that. And so when it's their turn and when they're up to bat and fix this, their kid, it becomes, just watch more TV. You're fine. Here,
Yeah.
let's just do this, or let me put you to a specialist. And
Very few parents today have any real knowledge of social media as a child.
yes,
Okay.
very true.
And I say very few. Generally speaking, I would say none.
Yeah,
But there's always 13, 14, and 15-year-olds that wind up having a child.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Generally speaking, none of the parents today know how to deal with this shit because it didn't exist when they were a child.
Yeah, so it's
And even if it did, you can't compare MySpace to what today is.
that's
okay.
true. Yeah, that's
And
fair.
I know you can't. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. They're different beasts.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, okay.
Billions more users, and let's get out of here, right? Seriously. So in compare, their experience as a young adult doesn't even compare to what exists today.
Yeah.
So how are they going to figure what you're asking them to answer something they have no knowledge on?
So we're the test.
Exactly.
Sweet.
There's no right.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the best way to deal with social media? Meh. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We just do our best.
Yeah.
Try to monitor this and guide with this and try to limit the time and try to
Yeah, yeah.
and that's all you get is it's try to.
Yeah.
We know some of on the science side, we know some of the psychological responses to certain things, and really it's more the screen than it is the social media itself.
Yeah.
We know some of that, but even those studies are so short-lived.
Which is true.
Wow.
Yeah, we haven't seen, the full outcome of things.
Right.
And so I think the next thing is then what's the base of it all? What does it all boil down to in the end? And is it, working on the kid more rather than trying to regulate what's the input is, working on what their output would be?
Yes, and I don't want to make it sound like it's censorship. I'm not saying censorship.
Yeah, yeah, no.
I think the more you expose people to, generally speaking, the better they're going to be adept at dealing with that stuff later in life.
That's
Generally speaking.
That's the point I want to get across.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's not exposed. And I think things are age appropriate, right? So you don't need to start having, sex talks with your 5 and 6 year old. It doesn't make any sense.
What are you
But
talking about? Yeah.
I get funny looks if someone around. I'm like, my 6-year-old's going to pee in the urinal. I'm like, you better hold your penis and aim it.
Yeah.
And I get people looking at me like, oh shit, he said penis.
Yeah. Ew, gross.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Come on, people.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
Don't kitty it down.
right. I mean,
They're not kidding it down. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Hey, dude, make sure you wipe all that poop out of your ass. All right.
Yeah.
People were like, and then, and this was, he had to take a crap. We saw Adventures the other, this was a couple weeks ago or whatever. You better make sure you wipe that good. I'm not gonna mess with that later.
Yeah.
And people are like, what are you doing? What are you talking? They're nervous because I'm talking. I'm like, what human on this planet doesn't take a crap?
Yeah, which is true.
Right? I'm like, seriously, dude, come on. You got to wipe it, right? So, and he's sick, so he's all excited.
Enough,
Dude, make sure you wipe that shit good.
Yeah.
Man, right?
I think so. This is one of the things that I've been watching. I do the youth coaching.
Yeah.
Treating them like adults.
Yeah.
I have expectations for them, like I do normal, like I do my clients, my adult clients.
Yeah.
And I tell them, this is what I expect from you. If you react this way, this is going to be my reaction,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just because, this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? When my students appreciate me because of that, right? And so when we can get along on a very a closer level, because they understand that, okay, you're being completely upfront with me, and I'll be completely upfront with you. If I'm having a bad day, I'll let you know. If I get injured, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than a lot of the people who are just, okay, well, here, try this, or baby talk, or anything like that.
Yeah.
I've got this wonderful little girl in my class. She's there for whatever reason, not ready to be in that class. It's like the most advanced class for the age. And I told her, I was like, because you're in this class, because somebody talked my supervisor, my manager, into putting you into this class, these are my expectations for you. I will not baby you whatsoever. You will be treated like an adult in this class, because that's the way I treat everybody else.
Right.
Right? And so when she comes up and she has some issue, all right, okay, well, let's address the issue and let me help you with whatever your problem is. but that's what I do for everybody. So if she comes up and she complains and says, "Oh, I don't want to do this today," I don't care what you want.
Yeah.
This is the way it's going to be.
Right.
And a lot of the coaches and a lot of the people who see us while we're training these kids think, well, this guy's really harsh on that little girl. No, that's the explanation. And she adores me because of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who treats her like an adult. You know, at that age, that's what you want, right?
You establish the boundaries.
Exactly.
And there's accountability.
Exactly. And then you get to the fun part about working with kids is you get to teach them, you know, those values, you know, the values of being an adult, the values of being able to handle your stresses and handle what life throws at you. And so every little class, there's a little, you know, something to take away. Oh, if something's hard, just keep going. Just keep trying. You know, don't give up because it's hard.
Right.
Right. If you're tired, address the issue.
Kids, man.
Take a rest. It's incredible.
Because so many times in public school systems is that teachers don't have the time to coax along,
especially
the student
like
is
30 students per class for these young kids is absolutely ridiculous.
You can't watch them.
No, you can't supervise one teacher cannot supervise 30 kids.
No.
12-year-olds is the absolute worst thing on the planet. I can tell you.
How can you even pretend to? Oh, but they have an assistant. I'm like, no.
That teacher that nobody respects that sits off to the side and is just watching doesn't interact with the kids. Oh my goodness, I had so many of those TAs. You know, when I was in high school, only one of them. Wonderful guy, incredibly smart, really compassionate towards kid because he had a bunch of kids. You know, he knew what he was doing, and he could handle the class.
Yeah.
I had him in one science class. He was a science teacher, you know, and
so you got the one good, you know.
Exactly, he had the one good one, but he knew what he was doing, and that was the beauty of it. And he knew how to handle kids, right?
Yeah.
Rather than, but so that put our. I'm going to get this wrong. 28 students, 27, 28, because one of the kids never showed up. Put us in a good ratio because both teachers could interact, and they would actually at points, you know, swap out. You know, who's teaching the lesson today? Because he was a huge physics buff. The other one was a big chemistry buff.
Okay.
And that I thought was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, but that's really more of like a 14 or 15 to 1 ratio.
Exactly, rather than a 30 to 1. Because I've had to work with 8 kids by myself once.
Yeah.
Different age grades, different progress levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I couldn't. Oh my God! It became babysitting at a point, and I told my manager at the time I'm never doing that again because it's not efficient. It's not helping the parent with what they're paying for. It's not helping the kid learn the skill. It's not helping me in my ability to teach or just handle the situation.
And that's the same thing as, you know, four coaches with 10 or 11 little league 7 to or 6 to 8 year olds.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
It's like you need more.
God, no.
Because, dude, you start putting space in between these kids.
Exactly.
We've got 10. We need 10 coaches. Yeah.
You're just what's that?
And it's, you know, during games, this coach is yelling at these 2 or 3, this coach is yelling at these 2 or 3, this coach is yelling at these 2 or 3, and this coach is dealing with this 2 kids. And, and you're just like, wow.
It becomes just crazy after
like
a while.
30.
Yeah.
And they don't respect you for shit anyway.
No. God, no.
Very few times are there students that respect the teacher and the fact that they're just a teacher.
But, yeah, exactly. And so... But I think that falls back on the parents because when I played soccer when I was a little kid, you ever acted up during training, during practice, your parents were there, and they would light you up, especially because they talk to those other parents, so you were a reflection on them. Oh man!
But that's because community was tighter.
Exactly.
And the community mattered.
Exactly.
And if you had the asshole kid.
Yeah, then everybody's looking at you like,
what
are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. That's a reflection of you. And people are like, whoa, you know. So you had some of that. In today's day and age, it's not that. If you have the asshole kid, those parents usually like, what you looking at? Why are you messing with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Mind your own business.
This is my kid. This is the way he is.
I'm going to do it. And you're like, oh, man, come on. No, just.
I'm going to light your ass up, then I'm going to light your kid's ass up. We're going to get this done now.
You get a lot of that stuff. So, again, it goes back to, I think, lack of accountability, lack of community.
Yeah.
And then both of those stream into the public school system, but in the public school system, they don't deal with anything.
Yeah.
It's all skirt the issue, pass the kid because he's a headache.
Because they're not allowed to address problems like they used to. They're not allowed to discipline kids the way they should be able to. Right? Because back in my middle school, they had completely taken, back in my elementary school, they had completely taken away physical discipline.
Yeah.
Right? Which was one thing. Okay, well, then we had in-school suspension, CAEP, which was like this like off-campus or on-campus, alternative school.
Yeah.
And you could go through the line, and when your parents heard about it, this was you best expect discipline when you get back home.
Exactly.
Right? But nowadays I watch these kids and it makes me so mad. Just the other day there's this little kid, he's the youngest brother of two of my students, talking back to his father. This kid's 3, I think. And I walk up, and he's talking back, I don't want to go, and the father's sitting over there because he doesn't want to look like one of those high disciplined fathers. He wants to be the cool dad, right?
Yeah.
Come on. I walk up to that kid. Hey, it's time to get going. The kid looks up at me, and I'm standing over him, and runs away to his dad. Right, because
he's like,
that's the way we were taught when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It comes to parents being able to discipline children and having the children don't be the friend parent, right?
Right.
Be the parent that the kid looks up to and respects.
Right.
Right.
You can be friendly parent.
Yeah.
But not the friend parent.
Exactly.
It's 2 totally different things.
Because my parents were friendly to me when I was growing up. They didn't. They didn't want to be friendly to me because I was a handful, but they were, because that's what you need as a child, right? But if I ever did something wrong, whether it was small or big, there was a lesson to be learned. It wasn't always punishment. Sometimes it was just education, right? But one of the huge things was being able to teach respect, especially for people that are trying to help you. There's one guy that I tried to work with for so long. When I was younger, and I realized that my mother told me this, that if the teachers stop bothering you, that means they've given up on you.
Right.
It's not that they're letting you get away with it. It's that they just don't care about you anymore, and they're not going to let you stress them out.
Yeah.
And she said, if you ever get to that point, you have failed as a student, right? And that is something to really be ashamed of. I had a guy that I used to teach. He's out of high school now. Who, when he was in high school, when we were doing our training, I wear my beard in school, not allowed. I wear ripped jeans, not allowed. I wear tank tops, whatever, not allowed.
Yeah.
They don't say anything to me anymore. Man, I can vape in school, you just stop that. I told him, I was like, because they don't care about you anymore. It's not that you're their friend and they're going to let you get away with it. Is that you now mean absolutely nothing to them and they don't care about your future. So you've gotten to that point with them. But because that's not taught anymore, that's something that that comes to a handful.
You see
of people.
videos in public school systems. I saw one the other day that a male teacher had taken one of a teenager's phone away because he was dealing with it in class, and the kid's pushing and destroying stuff on the desk and slaps the teacher and does this stuff, and the teacher winds up just giving the phone back because the teacher can't retaliate.
Oh,
because that's assault on a minor.
Yeah,
your career's over.
That's a felony. Yeah,
right. So you get on these things where these teachers are bound. They can't. They can't discipline. They can't do anything. Well, okay, so then what do we expect as a society? We expect shootings. We expect you have to.
Yeah.
What else? What's the alternative?
Because if you can't retaliate at a point, if there's going to come that point. So let's say I'm being bullied at school and I can't physically retaliate.
Yeah.
I can't, because when we were kids, being able to physically retaliate or being able to retaliate at all showed that you would stand up for yourself, and it was easier to find something else to do.
Yeah.
Right? You rather me be your friend. It doesn't matter if I lost the fight. If I won or lost, you knew that you were getting hurt, and that just wasn't worth the trouble. Right? And so now, if you retaliate at all, you're no better than them, and you're going to get punished as well. No, you're wrong.
And you can't go to the teacher. You can't go to administration.
Your
parents
care.
can't do anything.
Hands are completely tied by someone higher that says we don't want to deal with this. And so, but I think that's the big part of it is, we can't address problems the way we used to be able to, and that changes the way that you handle a situation. Because if you're constantly told, no, you can't fight back, no, you can't argue, no, you can't do this, no, you can't, and then at a point you're like, well, I have to do something, and it's past fighting, it's past arguing, it's past standing up for and now it's just time to address the problem and get rid of the problem, right?
And if your internal perception is your life holds zero value because you're being wronged.
Exactly.
So then you're immediately going to reflect that.
Yeah.
So then other people's lives don't hold a value.
Yeah.
If life holds a value, it holds a value universally. Granted,
exactly.
there's ebbs and flows and weaves and patterns that. But I'm just saying that if there's some value, then there's some value.
Yeah.
If there's no value,
then you don't care about anybody else.
Man.
Absolutely.
And so as a kid who, and again, I'm assuming this kid, I heard a deal that he was bullied.
Yeah.
Assuming he was bullied, or if not, use them the other ones that were.
Yeah.
Just plug and play. They're bullied. They don't have an outlet. They're not allowed to confront it.
Yeah, yeah.
In not allowing to confront it means they can't confront the individual. They can't confront the group directly. They can't indirectly by going to the school systems. Which
administrator or whatever.
Yeah, supposed to help support and protect them. They can't go to the parents because the parents typically don't have the time, resources to go to the administration. The administrators can't do anything anyway.
Exactly. Or they do and they don't do anything.
Right.
They can't go to a guidance counselor because the guidance counselor is just going to tell them, well, just take a step back and address your...
And it's social media, then you can't go to Facebook because Facebook doesn't do shit to support you.
Yeah, Facebook doesn't care. It's their business. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a different... So then you're like, okay, I had these 10 possibilities. I tried all of them, and nobody can do anything, and I'm still getting bullied.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Which is true. And I guess with everybody telling you, I can't help you, no support system,
right? That
just decreases your perception of your value.
So then you're the kid that's bullied. You have no friends. You have no support. You have nothing.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like it.
Exactly.
But I get it.
It's one of those things that's like, I prefer you didn't. But this brings up something that we need to address as an entirety rather than...
And that's why it says go back and do those steps that I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Properly nourish them, take away the bullshit, make sure they're rested. In the school systems, don't go as fast as the slowest kid. Use the fast ones to help the slow ones go faster.
Exactly.
Don't put it all on the teacher.
Yeah.
You got 30 kids, man. You can't.
God, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you've got a kid that can teach, well, let's put him to work and see what he does.
You're building a leader.
Yeah.
And then you glorify them, and then maybe they become a great teacher, and then it's a situation that in no ways are going to make it worse.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If you did all those things that I said earlier, there's a 0.0% chance you're making it worse.
Yeah, and a lot of those thoughts, a lot of those things, they don't need to go to sleep on time. They're kids. They're going to stay up anyways. A lot of that stuff is very undervalued because my parents used to, oh, man, if we were caught watching TV as kids. But we were forced to go to sleep. We were forced to eat.
Yeah.
It wasn't an option, but at the time we were eating like Southern comfort food, so we loved it. We'll eat whatever you want. I'll eat potatoes and roast beef all day. I don't care.
That's better than a bottle of Gatorade, dude.
Exactly, or better than going to McDonald's and just signing off as a parent, like, oh yeah, this is fine. On the road, I get it. Because we used to go
occasionally.
Yeah, we used to go out and travel, and if we traveled, what do you want to eat today? Oh, let's go to Denny's or Luby's or let's go to Mickey D's, whatever. There was one time we were in Padre. Every day for 4 days straight, breakfast, lunch, dinner was McDonald's, just because we didn't have access to anything else. And so, we did. It was just as kids. Yeah. All of this was just turning and churning. And we got home and detoxed on my mother's cooking. Oh, man.
That's just, But you say that, and I'm like, I feel it.
Yeah.
I just feel like, whoa.
Grease and stuff.
Oh, disgusting, man.
And I think a lot of the things that we used to do, and we claim that we don't have time for, it's not that we don't have time, it's we don't prioritize it because we don't understand what it did for us. So, for example, when we were kids, and I was the slowest eater, and I had to apologize to my sisters, we, at least twice a week would sit down and have dinner together.
Yeah.
This was just in elementary school, we talk and do this, and as things progressed, and as parents started working more, kids got more out of hand. But when I was most successful in school, and when I was most, being the best student I could be, was when we had that constant like interaction, because then you got to be there with the people that you looked up to.
Yeah,
right?
you get conversation, you get eye contact, you get all these things, and
Exactly.
you're there. Everybody's basically on the same level. It's not this weird thing. Nobody's getting trust. It's just
it's no hierarchy. It's just you're quite literally eating together,
chilling out, eating together, having a loose conversation.
Yeah, and so I took that for a lot of my students back at when I used to coach at another gym. They would ask all the time, "Hey, you want to go out to dinner after work today?" Yeah, of course. Let's go out to, because a lot of times these same kids aren't getting that attention that they need, and so they
Most
have to
aren't.
have. Most aren't. You're right. And having somebody there so that being able to identify that is a big thing for people. You're having that genuine value, and sitting there, and when you're eating, especially even at a primitive level, you're very vulnerable, right? Yeah. Being able to sit there with somebody and feel like, okay, I have somebody with me, I'm safe, we can go through this and have open conversation. That was huge for those people, and to this day, they call me up. We set up FaceTimes. They'll still come and see me. They're off in college. Some live California. Up in Austin, wherever. They'll still come and, oh, hey, what are you doing? We're back in town. Like, we want to go out and do something, eat, right?
Yeah.
Because it leaves that long-lasting impression, and so you have to have and especially.
And I'll give it an excuse to some parents. There's some single parents, and there's some two-parent homes, and there's some things that happen that it's not cheap. Life is not cheap.
God, no.
Life is not cheap. And with, everything that's going on and such, that there's a lot of times parents work from, 8:30 till 6 at night.
Yeah.
And they've got a 30-minute commute each way.
Yeah.
On a good day.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I can hear in Houston.
And it becomes that balance of providing what their family has determined the minimums are for their family. And sometimes that requires 60, 70 hours a week of work for two parents.
Yeah.
To have
which is true,
two reliable cars, and to have kids involved in activities, because those aren't cheap. To have, a house and or apartment or whatever it is with cable, and to stay even with people on social media and with the media devices and all that kind of stuff. All that shit's expensive.
God, yeah. Living expenses is getting bigger and bigger.
So
now.
You're looking at $200 a month for your cable and internet, $200 a month for your phone. Average car note's about $600. So you got two of those. That's $1,200. Crap, you're already at $1,600.
Exactly.
You got to have insurance and gas, and you haven't even started with mortgage or rent and food and all this other stuff.
Just general living expenses, utilities and whatever.
Yeah, so I get that some parents wind up having to work a lot more than what they want to.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So I'm just putting that out there because I know there's going to be some.
Yeah, someone's going to. You're wrong.
Some kickback on this. I have to work my ass off to be able to do this for my kids. And mad respect for people that have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And
no, for sure.
Find
absolutely.
a balance. Dude, yeah. I mean, respect that.
And so that was I can relate with that because my father had to travel a lot. He was a tech and then became a consultant. Traveled pretty much every week. So he was gone during the week. He'd be able to come home for a little while during the weekend and then back again, right? It would be, I don't know, 10 p.m., whatever it was. We're supposed to be asleep. Mother keeps us up to say hi to him, say bye to him, and let's go. Because he would, detour here. We live down in Sugar Land, so he'd come from IAH, come say hi, have all of his stuff, go back to IAH, and then gone for the next week. And for a time there, it was rough, right? But it's just being able to have that interaction, and just I think a lot of times we overlook those things because it seems small to us.
Yeah.
Right? But looking back and being able to remember my childhood and being able to say, when he was gone the most, I used to run around the house trying to find pictures of him just to remember what he looked like.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference to a kid. Huge difference. And so,
and even if it's for 2 minutes,
exactly,
come in, wake you up.
We had 5 minutes, and then he was gone. And that 5 minutes meant the world, right? Just being able to grow up and see, this guy is working for us. He's gone every week working his ass off.
He's making sacrifices to be able to do these things for you.
Exactly, and that set the bar for us. That set the expectation, right? And so, I mean, as kids, even during that time, we were extremely respectful. We were, because we knew that there were people that valued us, and they made it very, very clear to us.
Yeah.
Oh, we are working for you to have that better future. And so you said, oh, okay, well, I better not mess this up.
Yeah.
Right? Don't keep that life hidden.
How old were you when you started to actually understand that?
Oh God, that was we were pretty young because my mother made it very, very clear to us.
I mean, I would guess like 9, 10, but I don't know what. Yeah.
I'm sure it was older or younger than that, so 7, 8. Just because we were still really young kids, still in elementary school, first grade, second grade. But having one of those parents there to tell us, this is the way it is. It's not the way we want it to be. If we could all take vacation together all the time, we'd totally do that.
Yeah.
But
Like, no.
he's working his ass off. I'm working my ass off. Understand what we're doing for you. And so I think for parents, not hiding that becomes a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, don't want to show their kids the struggle. Don't want to show them like, oh, we're working our butt off for you, just because we want to keep the kids safe, right? We don't want them to worry, but to an extent, let them worry. Let them understand what we're doing for them.
Yeah.
And then if they get to that point where it feels overwhelming for them, pull them in and say, well, this is how we handle it. This is how I handle my stress at work. Let that teach you how to handle your stress in your life, whatever is school or just being at home.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
And it goes back to appropriately exposing them to as much as possible.
Exactly.
Like,
And I think that's the
world.
hugest thing.
Yeah.
Is being able to say, okay, well, here's the world as it is. If you need to make changes to it, it's here for you. You're about to be the next generation, so you better figure it out. You better find some good people and make some good changes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh man. So it's okay. So we're there, dude. But what? We pretty much covered the gun thing.
Yeah.
But what this deal is, is there anything else that you think should be addressed with the volume of shootings that are going on?
So, oh jeez. It's getting really emotional.
Well, like I said, is that we can't. If you made all guns illegal today, again, you're really hindering law-abiding citizens.
I don't believe we should make guns illegal.
Right.
I believe in certain situations you should have, better proficient background checks, or you should have a psychological evaluation. You should go through these things. Or a very, very thorough gun education. Because when I got my gun, when I got my first, I got a black powder rifle just to have it.
Yeah.
I love that thing. But quite literally, they handed me the box and said, "All right, well," because they walked off into the thing for a minute. And I had my driver's license, had all this, printing and registering. Handed me the box and I was gone. So I walked in. 45 minutes later, I walked out with this rifle. I can't do a lot of damage. It's a 50 cal, so I can do a lot of damage, but I can only do it once, right?
Yeah. If you miss, you're going to get bum rushed by about 8,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, oh, jeez. But I think gun education is a huge thing that we lack.
Yeah.
Being able to just say, oh, go, bye.
Yeah.
Or understanding, this is going to sound really dark, understanding death. Because a lot of people don't get that exposure to death. Or when they do, it's during a funeral and you get to see this beautifully portrayed body at its peak. And being a biker and being around bikers,
see a lot more there. Yeah.
You have a very, very good understanding of what death is. There's people all the time. Hey, get a call. This guy's gone. Wrapped around something. Right? And so, but most people aren't exposed to that, and most people aren't willing to be exposed to that because of what it does to you emotionally, right?
It's dirty and scary, and
it is. Yeah. It's a horrifying thing, right? And especially when you're the one you're the one going 120 miles down the road, and all of a sudden, somebody pulls out in front of you. That's going to put things in perspective for you,
real quick,
right? But I think being able to say, okay, well, this is for young people especially. Know that there is a limit to things, and know that your life does have that amount of value, right? Whatever you give it is what you give it, but I can guarantee you there are people out there that will tell you it is not worth losing your life over something like that.
Right.
You know, go to somebody.
And
I
it's
don't
hard
care who it is.
when you get in situations. Do this real quick. Take a bullying situation,
Mm-hmm.
and a kid gets to the point where they're like, "I'm killing someone or killing myself."
Yeah.
Which we know happens
All the time.
tremendously all over the country, all over the world, whatever. They've already gotten to the point to have nowhere to turn. What do you want these people to do? What's the recommendation? They're doing something. They're gonna go get something and harm themselves or harm somebody else. They've reached that point. There's no hotline they can call. There's not a buddy they can reach out to. It's done. So they've thrown their life because the system has failed them, not because they did anything wrong.
Yeah, and I definitely get
For the most
that.
part, sometimes they did do something wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's the system screwed them. So how do you start protecting people from the system?
I say allow that person to be honest. If that person's at the point where they say, would they feel they have no value?
Yeah.
Or they feel like they're going to hurt somebody or they're going to hurt themselves, allow them to be honest. Allow them to say that without having this overwhelming reaction and send them to psych.
I would think this. If a kid gets to a point in our public school systems, wherever, and if they go and they state at any level, let me put it this way, there should never be a patient-client privilege situation between a student in a school and any administration of that school staff. I don't care if it's the counselor and the psychological, and I don't think that should exist. I don't think you should deter it, but I don't think it should exist. And I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. And if at any level a child says, I'm to the point, I'm paraphrasing anyway, that I'm going to harm myself or I feel like I want to harm somebody else, at that point, if action isn't taken, and I mean action, by the school and the administration, whoever's bullying, whoever's doing this kind of crap and stuff, and there's a shooting or a suicide, the school's liable.
No, yeah, of course.
Absolutely 100% liable.
No, yeah.
You can't, does that make sense?
But that's what I agree with, is that's as good as a threat. That's as good as a promise, especially for somebody like that. But so to clarify the statement I made, let them say it and then address that.
Yeah, you've got to address it.
Rather than just saying, you're fine, this happens all the time, deal with it. That's the way to write it off. That's the way to get somebody really hurt. Tell them, okay, well, if this is your issue, then here's what we can do and here's the solutions that we can make. We're not going to tell you, we're going to get those kids. We'll tell you, well, okay. Well, let's take a step back. Let's look at things. Let's evaluate things. Take essentially being compassionate rather than saying, "Oh, you're fine. I have 200 other kids to deal with."
Right.
Or even as a parent, you should be able to handle that situation. Where if a kid gets to that point of being stressed out, to pause, take a step back from your life that I know you think is the most valuable thing on the planet. I know you think that. You miss a day at work and all of a sudden all hell rains down on you or whatever it is because people get so caught up in their lives. And take that day off and tell your kid, okay, well, this is what's the reality of it is I value you, or the administration values you as a student, or your guidance counselor values you as a person, or this police officer off the road values you as a person. I don't care who this kid talks to. Yeah. But just if the people that you haven't seen or the people that you have seen aren't helping, I can guarantee you there's somebody out there for you that can help you through whatever situation.
Absolutely.
Because they have been through that.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that it's got to be frustrating, even if a little Johnny comes and tells me all this has been going on for a long time, keep it quiet, I'm scared, I'm at the point I really want to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
If I go to the school and the school's like,
or the school freaks out and sends them off somewhere.
Right.
That's not the proper handling.
No, you got to the people doing it have to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Doing the bullying, do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
It's got to be, because it's like that. And then this would be me. If Coy came to me and said these things, obviously it wouldn't be for years from now because little dude now. But I'm going to the administration. The administration shuns me, I'm going to the police.
Yeah.
If the police shun me,
oh man,
we're gonna have some big problems.
Yeah.
I'm gonna educate them. Here's how you make your good shots, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like time for tactical training. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I'm like, okay, well, if the two systems that are there can't do anything,
then he has to be able to defend himself.
Then all right, buddy, here we go. You know, what other choice do you have as a parent?
Yeah, and I think if it gets
empower them.
So if you're bullying and you get to that level where a bully is being physically aggressive, then they have to be able to stand their ground. They have to be able to retaliate. If it's something like online, oh, you know, you're this, you're that, there has to be a way for you to put in perspective for the child that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? But
that's so hard. Yeah.
Oh God, it's so bad.
But
being able to take a step back and teach that is what we're lacking, right?
Yeah.
And especially from like administration standpoint.
Yeah.
Being able to say, okay, well, this is the issue that we have, or for a student to even come up to an administrator and say, you know, I'm having this problem, and an administrator to wisely say, well, so if this is what's happening, let's not just remind the kids that bullying isn't allowed or remind them of the punishments. Let me help you as a person grow and develop stress management, grow and develop how you react to situations, what your values and metrics are, right? And then say, okay, well, you know, I've given you this. We've adjusted your values, so now you don't care. We've adjusted your metrics, so now you know, when they say something, it means very, very little to you. That's what we're missing in today's society rather than the older generations, is because older generations, when something went wrong, we can fix it or we can't, we deal with it.
Old generations of bullying, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go back, because real quick story. I'll make it today. Little Johnny's getting bullied by Scott.
Yeah.
Whatever. He goes and he tells the administration, any staff, any teacher, any principal, anything, I feel like, you know, this and that. Scott's harassing me, someone's going to beat me up. He's making fun of me.
Yeah.
I feel like hell. They're like, sit down. Scotty gets his ass drug into the office, and they're like, "Little Scotty, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this? Look, are you serious?
Yeah.
You just shit again, you're out of here."
Yeah.
Like, they didn't play. It wasn't we can't say anything Johnny because we didn't witness it.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have any proof. These are kids, dude. Come on. The proof is you can look at this kid's eye and something is wrong. If Scotty was bullying him or not, there's something going on. Bring the glasses in. Get his ear and drag his ass in there.
Yeah. No,
you know
absolutely. Being able to address the problem is...
You can't do that now.
Yeah.
Because you didn't witness it. You don't have any proof of it.
And you don't want to get tangled up in it because then Scott's parents are going to come in and make a mess. And
and there's liabilities and then all that. Like, get your punk ass in here.
Exactly.
You know, and then because you may find out, wait a second, little Johnny's the motherfucker.
Which is true,
He's the asshole, not Scott. Scott's caught up in the middle of something, and he comes, and you're like, hey, you little shit, now you get in here. You know?
Exactly.
And that's kind of the thing, and that's where, if you were able, like you said, able to address it,
you're
going to find out a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because little Scotty's going to come in and be like, I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
You know?
Who is this kid?
Yeah, like, does he go here? Like, and you're going to see him, and you're like, this guy didn't do shit. He just
he's
isn't a bystander, you know? And that's, you know, and that kind of like, so we need that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get there, though, man.
We don't really have a choice at this point. Something's going to change.
Something big. And
I
don't care how many guns you take away or make illegal or amendments you change, people still going to be getting shot.
Yeah. And when that becomes a problem, or when that gets all solved, well, someone's getting stabbed.
Yeah.
And then millions of other
They're
people.
Going to go 3D print a gun.
Exactly, yeah. That's really hard to regulate this stuff anymore.
Yeah. You know, it's like, you're like, come on, man. You know, we made some small cannons out of pipes and fireworks.
I was about to say, yeah.
You know?
They proved that you can make a cannon out of duct tape.
Yep.
So I think you're okay now.
That's what I'm saying. Is, I mean, you don't get a lot of shots, but you do some damage.
Make a whole bunch of cannons.
Yikes. You know, I'm just, as kids,
I can just see
many generations ago.
That look like pirate ships.
Hey.
Cannons pointing out of them.
You know, I'm just saying, it's not. It's not
That might be a
difficult.
cool little project. Maybe shoot like watermelon or something, just so you don't hurt people.
Well, we had a little thing back when we were older teenagers, and we would have food wars.
Yeah.
And we would take balloons designed to be water balloons,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fill them up, like smash and liquefy food, and inject all this stuff into these balloons, and it was disgusting. And we'd like hide out in trunks and drive around the big upside, and you pop out, and it's all against each other. No innocent bystanders.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody
Zero
knew.
collateral damage.
Yeah, everybody knew what was going on. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, dude, that was sorry. Yeah.
That
No,
sounds
we
amazing.
never did that. It was a dream. Stories.
Yeah.
I gotta share some of that crazy. Dude, that was.
Oh
yeah,
my.
oh. That's when water balloon launchers and stuff were out, and
Yeah, the big elastic things you pulled.
you weren't safe, dude. You're on a highway and you think you're going the other way. Those things will go like 75 yards accurate,
Really?
and I'm like, you're done,
So
dude.
you saw the
Anyway,
specs on those, because
yeah, no specs.
Still gotta-
1999 at the local toy store, man. Water balloon launchers.
Well, now they make that weak stuff. Now they make like the.
Oh, you may have to go old school on
Yeah, I
it.
might have to get some tether and maybe like a leather strap or something.
You get them.
Oh man.
No, so I appreciate this, man. Thank you.
Of course.
That was good. Yeah.
course.
So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening later, because it'll be later when you listen. I don't know how you say that kind of crap or whatever. So we'll see you guys. Me with Jason Monday, and you with Jordan next Thursday, and
Yeah.
we'll do it all. It'll be good, man. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.